of this meaning of democracy that we have in our national consciousness aren't always the ones who are going to place us in a position where we are the ones become the key beneficiaries of that. Certainly when we bring up the issue of health care, certainly we should have a wonderful public discussion about health care within a democracy. But any public discussion about it or any public dialogue about it has been very toxic. It has often misinformed us, disinformed us, and disempowered us in the discussion when we talk about. Now this is a democracy now, where there should be a discussion about something that's basic and fundamental, something that is an entitlement, not a privilege, health care. And yet this discussion is bordered on aspects of fascism. Threats to the president, as I said, disinformation, and a great deal of anger and a building of resistance to this idea. So we look at that from that vantage point. Is this a key for us? And looking at the healthcare issue is simply one entity, one aspect of what needs to be done, what is essential in a country where more than 50 million people live without adequate health care, and we can't get a discussion about that. What does that tell us about this democracy or this idea about democracy? Certainly, if we take in consideration what de Tocqueville said more than 107 years old, that we need in a democracy informed citizens who are able to act on behalf of the general good and in their self-interest, then certainly we have some questions about the other discussions about that. If we want to think about democracy from that vantage point, we have a long way to go. Democracy cannot be simply set up for the mechanism of voting for a candidate at an appropriate time. Democracy has to be one in which we participate in every process. Democracy has to be a place where we change the objective condition of people who live in abject poverty.
Yes, sir.
It has to be.
Yes, sir.
So when we exercise this thing of democracy, we have to be careful, very careful, how we ourselves clothe ourselves in these words. Democracy means dissent. If there can't be dissent, there can't be no democracy. Not some shallow sense of dissent. Not some cosmetic sense of dissent, but dissent, where we hit the public discussion that we need. It must be an essential part of that. It must be a part where we democratize everything that affects our lives. In terms of climate control, in terms of dealing with the issue, we must be a part of that democracy, that dialogue. We must be a part of the dialogue when it comes to what do we mean by sustaining our communities? How do we become a part of that dialogue?